Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Karen Goldberg. I'm your professor for this course. Before the semester starts, I thought it would be useful to give you a little bit of an introduction of myself, as well as an introduction to Blackboard. Whether you've used Blackboard before or not, every instructor uses it a little bit differently, so I wanted to give you an overview of how it's structured on my site. And finally, to give you a little bit of an overview about the syllabus. So first things first on Blackboard, after you log on to Blackboard, you're given a course option, which you've obviously already chosen because you're seeing this and it's on the site for this course. From there, what you want to do is you'll see your home page and it lists announcements. I go here pretty regularly and post things for the class. I try to send reminders about when things are due or information. If there's a weather day, for example, that would be under announcements, a variety of things. Announcements I generally send as email at the same time, but I want to make it clear that there is a known issue with Blackboard not sending emails to non-Bowie state email addresses. And that is the case whether you're using another email address and having your Bowie state forwarded there, or whether you're just trying to use the other address independently, because there's something wrong with the forwarding property. And so even if you have your Bowie state email address forwarded to a Gmail account, for example, you will not always get your Blackboard messages forwarded to your Gmail account. So you want to be sure that you are actively checking your Bowie state account and not relying on it being forwarded. In addition, you also want to check the announcements page itself, because while I try to remember to send most announcements as emails at the same time, I'm not perfect either, so sometimes I might send it as an announcement and forget to email it at the same time, so you want to make sure you're checking the announcements page. So once you are on the course's website, you'll see information. You'll see a left-hand bar here, and realize that my screen is a little bit different than yours, but with nothing in the class yet, I can't actually show you on your screen. But you will see information. There'll be an about the course link, and that's where I'll post things, information about myself, information about the syllabus will be there for sure. I will put the syllabus in multiple places because it's really, really important, and it's kind of your course contract, if you will. So I post it in multiple places so you can see it from anywhere. In the course materials section, when you click on that, I'm not going to click on it now because it's empty, but once as the semester gets going, when you click on that, you'll find various folders, and what I try to do is within each folder, I put usually 1 to 2, or probably 2 weeks worth of material in that folder. So the first folder would contain material for the first 2 weeks of class, the second would contain materials from the third and fourth week of class, etc. And within the course materials, there are going to be things such as my PowerPoints, there are going to be sometimes videos, there will be links to any assignments or exams or quizzes there, etc. I will try to remember to put those links also in the assignments tab here as well, but sometimes it's much more complicated than it would seem at first blush to put them in 2 places. So always remember to take a look at that as well. So that's probably the major things that you need to know about Blackboard, and of course why can't I scroll down? The grades, which you'll want to be checking on Blackboard pretty regularly. I post them as soon as I can, so if you want to check how you've done on a particular quiz or an assignment or whatever, you want to look there. When I post assignments on Blackboard, not quizzes or exams, but written assignments and things like that, or other assignments that aren't tests. I will always post a rubric with those. You always want to look at the rubric first before you get started doing the assignment, say a written assignment, for example, because I try to be very, very clear as to what constitutes outstanding, what constitutes good, what constitutes mediocre, what constitutes something that needs improvement. And for a variety of different criteria. So just because, you know, one professor may value a particular criterion doesn't mean that every professor will value that. So I'm very specific in what you're evaluated on and what constitutes outstanding, good, mediocre, and poor performance on each of those. So you should know and be able to check as before you submit your work what your likely evaluation grade will be. I try and be very transparent about that because you should know. Okay, the other thing I wanted to get us talking about is the syllabus. Whoops, it didn't quite line up as well as I'd have liked it to. I had this cute little straight out of the syllabus meme. I think you can still see it though. In any event, I do want to underscore the syllabus is important. Read it, read it, read it, know it like the back of your hands. I'm going to go over some aspects of the syllabus here, but I only have I have less than 15 minutes of recording time each time I post a video, so it's going to be brief. But I do want you to read through and truly understand some of the key points. A few things I'm going to underscore here. The textbook, my understanding is that the bookstore ordered the 9th edition. The reality is textbook publishers push out new editions way too soon. There's really no difference in the material that's in the 9th edition versus the 8th or the 7th. I really don't care. It's a money-making scam perpetrated by the book publishers. So if you want to buy, if you can get your hands on a used version of, or a version that's otherwise in circulation of the 7th or 8th edition, go ahead and do that. I, in fact, do not even own a copy of the 9th edition. You would think that they'd get them out to professors first, but didn't happen. So in any case, feel free to get whichever edition. The material really doesn't change all that much from one edition to the next in a basic undergrad course. There's not been anything major that's rocked the ground as we know it for management. The one thing that I do ask is, as we go through, as we'll see on the tentative schedule of material that's covered, sometimes, even though they're covering the same material, the publisher will put, say, leadership used to be in chapter 11 and now they've moved it to chapter 9 in the new edition. So just make sure that you're matching up with the content in the order that it's presented, even if the chapters may have shifted from one edition to the other. I don't think that's the case here, but just something you need to be aware of. Please go through the course expectations. One thing I do want to mention too is in the first quiz for this class, you will be asked questions about the syllabus. It is that important. Yes, it is, really. Policy on accommodations. If you are a student with a documented disability, it is up to you to go to the Office of Disability Support Services. Obviously, I'm happy to provide any accommodation a student needs, but I need to be notified by the Office of Disability Support Services. I can't make I'm not allowed by law to make individual decisions about student support services with regards to disabilities. So if you are a student with a disability, please contact them. I do want to underscore this right here. The very first thing you should do with every course, it's just kind of good strategy as being a student. I tell my kids the same thing. There is this, as we'll go through on the syllabus, there is an agenda and a timeline for the class. Go through and enter it in your calendar right now. The dates that every quiz is due, the date that each of the quizzes are due, the dates that each of the exams are due, the dates that the written assignments are due, etc. And add reminders to signal to yourself that something is coming up to be due. You don't want to have any conflicts as the semester goes through, and this is true not just for my class, but for any class, where you thought something was due at a certain date but it wasn't, or you want to avoid that. So get started off on the right foot this semester, and go through and enter the dates for all of your classes when things are due. Okay, this is something, it's almost silly to say, take the quizzes and the exams. If you don't take them, you will not do well in the class. I mean, as you'll see, I mean, they're a big part of your grade, and I'll go through again, I'm very transparent about how your grades are determined. If you don't take the quizzes or exams or turn in written assignments, you will not do well in the course. And I don't give makeups. Again, the dates are spelled out before the semester starts. There's no reason, and you can take them in advance, in most cases at least a week in advance, so there's no reason why you can't get things done on time. Do take the time to look into what plagiarism is. I don't have the time to go through it right now, but it's important that you understand what is and isn't plagiarism. Keeping up with the material. In terms of how your grade is determined, for a face-to-face course, participation is a big factor. Obviously, that's not a factor in online courses, because although there are some things you can do for participation, my experience in having taught both online and face-to-face courses is online courses just don't lend themselves to participation. But face-to-face courses do, so it's a big component in face-to-face courses. Quizzes, which are designed to test usually about 1 or 2 weeks, typically 2 weeks of material at a time. Exams, sometimes they're called midterms and finals. I don't like the terms midterms and finals because they make them sound so much more daunting. As you'll see, the weights for the exams are pretty much on par with the written assignments. And as to the written assignments, there will be 2 of those this semester. Class participation in a face-to-face course is important, and I do go through on the syllabus and sort of outline what constitutes, basically A, B, C, and D or below level of contributions, because there's more to participation than just showing up. And in fact, as I note at the very end of this section, if you show up with good attendance but don't really contribute, kind of sit back and, spend the class period on your phone, which you would never do, then you would expect a participation grade somewhere in the B- range. The quizzes are primarily textbook related, although other content that's in the module is also fair game. And again, on the first quiz, you will be tested on syllabus material. The quizzes and exams are both given online, and for the quizzes you'll have 75 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes for each one. I do drop the lowest scoring quiz, so if you don't do that well on one, it's not the end of the world. We have our good days and bad days, and nobody should suffer eternally for that. For the exams, oops, I need to change that. The first exam will cover the first 3 modules, and the second exam will cover the remaining 3 modules. And the written assignments are going to be short, just a couple of pages, but they will be important, and they do need to be research-based. They're going to be focused on particular films in our class, but you need to do research to get started on them. And then you can see how the total grade is comprised. The individual assignments are 15% each, the exams are 15% each, the quizzes are 5% each, and class participation is 15%. So you can see participating in class is just as important as doing well on the midterm or well on the final. And finally, I'm just going to go, I have about 10 seconds left. At the end is a very a tentative guideline of what gets covered when. And this is what I had alluded to before. Go in and make the additions to your calendar right now. Looking forward to a great semester, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.